You guys continue going after records that should be made available to American citizens. Why don't you tell us some of the things you guys are doing these days at Judicial Watch?
Well, we're still battling on Clinton emails. We had a federal court a few weeks ago, Judge Royce Lamberth, who's out of Texas as well. He ruled that Hillary Clinton's email system was one of the gravest offenses to modern transparency. And so we authorized discovery. So we're going to be taking more evidence on the Clinton email scandal. And we're right in the thick of it on these deep state attacks on President Trump, the effort to overthrow the presidency, 30-plus Freedom of Information Act lawsuits. We received the FISA warrant applications. We received the documents showing that Christopher Steele, the Clinton spy, was getting paid by the FBI and then presumably cut off, but not really cut off because he started meeting with the Justice Department on the sly through Bruce Orr. But all this is coming out because of Judicial Watch, not congressional activity. And it just shows you that as the Democrats take control of Congress, or at least the House, our independent watchdog work is going to be even more important than ever because obviously the Democrats are going to have very different priorities than even the weak-willed Republican leadership that you had to contend with.
Well, and when you look at, Mueller, for example, in the special counsel job, it's incredible what Mueller has gotten away with. And actually, in conjunction with Sean, I had been going back and forth with Sean earlier this year that, Mueller has, I was going to do an op-ed on just how atrocious Mueller's background of injustice was and vindictiveness and meanness, not justice, but just real vindictiveness. And I pointed out, normally papers don't want to publish anything more than like 800 to 1,000 words top, and I'd blown by that, and Sean had just indicated, look, write whatever, and then we'll put it out through the internet from my website. So that's what we did, and it was about 48 pages of just the way this guy, he didn't care about people being innocent or guilty. If he had it in for somebody, he went after them. And actually, Eric Holder had pointed out some time back that he'd known Mueller for, 20 or 30 years, and that, in his opinion, he wasn't going to stop until he got something basically to indict President Trump for. But I think when the history is written of this Mueller special counsel group, including Weissman, and of course we're answering to Rosenstein, all of whom were involved in the real Russia scandal, where they allowed Russia to get away with buying or end up with our uranium. But I think it is going to be written. Mueller, McCabe, Strzok, so many others that, in my opinion, they're going to end up being written up as the fraudsters who attempted a soft coup d'etat, and maybe I hope that they will write it was unsuccessful, but the jury's still out on that. Do you recall ever seeing anything or reading about anything in history that was as much of an effort to oust a sitting president using legal process?
Absolutely not. During the Johnson administration in the 19th century, it was a fight over the appointment power of the presidency and the ending of the Civil War and the fights over that led to the impeachment of Andrew Johnson.
Yep,
that was a straight political fight.
Yep, you're right.
Nixon, there were abuses of office with Nixon, and the Democrats held Nixon to a standard they refused to hold Johnson to, for instance. But Nixon, dug his own grave in terms of his misconduct. Here they concocted a theory of the case, which is that Russia was conspiring with Trump, and it was a theory generated from the Clinton campaign.
Right.
And they used it as a pretext to spy on Trump. There's nothing to compare with that in our American history in terms of the abuses of power, the various agencies, all of which were on, all hands on deck for the Obama administration.
Yeah.
NSA, CIA, FBI, DOJ, to target the Trump team. And it continued into his administration, incredibly, with the apex is the Mueller investigation.
Yeah, well, Tom Fitton, Judicial Watch, you've got such great experience. You've seen these things, and you're right about the Andrew Johnson impeachment. It was political, but in this case, it is extraordinary. And the more we found out about Steele, the former MI6 guy, you got Comey and all these other people that were verifying the validity of this information they presented to a judge, got 4 different warrants. And then we find out, actually, I was shocked to find out Steele hadn't been to Russia in many years. He didn't do this research. He had others doing it for it. We don't know if it's second, third, fourth, fifth hand hearsay. We don't know if people at the bottom of it may have been Russian actors acting on behalf of Putin, because obviously they want to cause as much disarray in the United States as possible. So, and then we find out in a hearing 2 or 3 weeks ago that, Russia only spent $4,700 trying to manipulate the election using the U.S. internet. It's extraordinary. But how do you see this playing out? I told Harris Faulkner last summer when people were saying, oh, yeah, Mueller's going to be done by September. I was going, nope, he's not going to be through by September. He's going to drag this out past the election. He's going to drag it out as long as he can, because as long as he's doing this, limitations are running on any crimes that he and Weissman and others, Rosenstein, others might have committed. So, well, how do you see it playing out, Tom?
I don't see them pulling back. I think at best there'll be an interim report which will be grist for the impeachment mill for their allies in the Democratic-controlled House. And I think Mueller's team sees themselves as impeachment counsel for the House, and they're going to continue to insist on being around to help the Democrats to try to remove the president.
You able to take a call with us?
Sure.
All right, let's hear from Lee in California. Lee, welcome to the Sean Hannity Show. You've got Louis Gohmert and Tom Fitton.
Thanks, Congressman Gohmert. I appreciate your
service. It's just Louis, but thanks.
And my question would be, under the circumstances, with as long as it's gone on, why hasn't or why can't Robert Mueller be charged with waste, fraud, and abuse?
Tom, what are your thoughts?
Because Mueller is the tail wagging the Justice Department. So any misconduct by the Mueller operation, any oversight by the Mueller operation is lacking. And for all the noise about the FISA warrants and everything, I've been disappointed that absent people like Louis Gohmert, few in Congress have been willing to provide oversight of Mueller and take him on more directly and his gargantuan operation on more directly. And he's someone who is operating beyond all constitutional scope, authority, and guidance, and it's something that needs to change, and that's what we aim to do through our own litigation.
Yeah, but he is acting within this extraordinary scope that Rosenstein has given him. Basically, anything you want to do, and as long as he's acting under the color of federal law, then he can't be charged. But there are things he could be charged with, and I would sure like to see a special counsel go digging into that Russia uranium investigation and how they silenced everybody so that the sale could go through, and that resulted in Hillary getting $145 million for the Clinton Foundation. We got to take a break. Tom, can you come back on the other side? Can you hold on with us? All right, this is the Sean Hannity Show. Louis Gohmert. Be right back with Tom Fitton, head of Judicial Watch. Call Sean, 800-941-SEAN, and we'll be right back.